and welcome to We Done Already Had Ours Is, the great pop culture debates extra special recap of RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm your host and living shade button, Eric Resniak, and I'm joined by best squirrel friends Curtis Creekmore, Derek Makita, Kate Rakuya, and Kevin Dillon. In anticipation of the finale of All Stars 5 this week, our panel of superfans, we'll call it a fanel, will be looking back at the best moments of the season for each of the 10 All Stars 5 queens. We're recording this the day after episode 7, so if you want to remain unspoiled on the season up to this point, pull a Ben de la Creme and self-eliminate now. Before we get into the actual queens themselves, I want to get a general consensus on the format twist this season, with one episode winner, the lip sync assassins, and the remaining queens voting. So I'm going to go around the horn. I'm going to start with Kate. What did you think of the twist?
I think it's great. I think that they had to do something after the disaster of the Shangela season. And this just like makes them think about the larger picture the whole time instead of it feeling like a cheap trick at the end. And then you get the joy of the lipstick assassin, right? Like that is truly joyful to see someone come back and have a chance to be on the stage again.
Yeah, and I think especially earlier in the season, I thought Evie coming out was a bigger gag than half of the other cast. So I thought maybe if they bring it back, how to say this in a way that's positive, because I'm intending this to be a very positive podcast, not negative.
Let's not like ruin everything. I hate to cut you off, Eric, but like let's be like slightly shady, just like a scotch. How about that?
Okay. I think with slightly more selective casting, the lip sync assassin could be, frankly, the best part of every episode going forward. Derek, what are your thoughts?
I completely agree with Kate. I think that the format change was needed. I felt like something needed to happen that freshened up the show. And I also think it gave the contestants more ownership over their decision-making throughout the season. And it brought them into the inner machinery of the show in a way that like maybe they hadn't before. I will also say that the twist of the carrying over the tip into the next week, if you lose the lip sync, like gooped,
gagged. Yeah, I agree about the mechanic of changing it so that all the queens have to participate. There's no way for you to get to the end at this point without blood on your hands. Everybody will at some point have a hand in eliminating somebody else. And I think that's what fucked over Shangela in 3. Was that she got to that jury, which was a terrible idea, and she had eliminated, 3 out of those queens? And that's why she wasn't moving forward. This way, everyone is equally culpable, and you cannot be on the outside just waiting to get to the final 4, hoping to skate through. It's impossible now. Kevin, what do you think?
I love it. I think that there's something that they do need to pay attention to, though, because I think with this cast, they carried forth this idea that the best should move forward. I worry if they continue this in the next season without tweaks or twists. My use of this is that everyone's in the bottom. I think that's the one thing in the last 2 weeks that they've done that they should not carry over. And I say that because I think when you get Naomi eliminating Manila, or you get this like Bendela self-eliminating or something, like you get these things that are like meant to be shot. I think that ruins, we want the best person to win. Like I think fans want the best person to win and whatnot. So I love it. My only caveat would be that I would not put everyone in the bottom towards the later end of the season. That would be the only thing I would personally shift, because I think otherwise it's great.
I agree, and I will say that today on Twitter, there was a lot of hate being directed towards Shea Coulee for a variety of reasons, but one of the main arguments was that Cracker should win because Shea owes Cracker for being there because she did not eliminate her, which I think is a completely specious argument.
But did Johnny Cochran write those? Like, geez Louise, like that's like...
If the lipstick don't fit, you must acquit, Kevin.
I can't.
But in all seriousness, I do think that you make the point that the reason that this change was necessary was for 2 All-Star seasons in a row, arguably the best performers did not win.
Right.
And it was because you had very smart queens who were like, yeah, okay, I know the noble thing for me to do is to allow these very strong queens to make it to the end, but I want $100,000.
Yep.
So sorry about it. Fuck you, Manila. Fuck you, Shangela.
Yep.
Fuck you, BB. Like whatever else. And that's why I think it was necessary.
Yeah.
Right.
But I agree that putting everybody at risk except for the winner in the last like half of the season, you could have ended up in the exact same situation. Cracker could have sent home Shay at any point, or Juju B.
Yep.
And we would have been in exactly where we were before. Curtis, I want to go to you.
It makes me really happy / proud to be a horrible millennial because I don't go on Twitter. I don't even have an Instagram. Well, I guess I do because I made one for this. You
Yep.
should look at it right now. There's like 2
Ooh, very smooth.
Doesn't even have a photo.
It's awful. But like hearing that from Kevin makes me want to hit someone and there's no one in the vicinity. Like
You've got a dog.
I am a Shay stan. Shay deserved to win season 9. She deserves to win now. So to hear people coming for her because someone could have sent her home makes me just
Flames.
this. It makes me this. Like I'm just
Does it make you flames on the side of your face?
flames on the sides of my face. I was
Heaving,
her for Halloween.
breathless.
It was.
Curtis, I will say this. There are people who messaged me and were saying like, Shay needs to get over the rose petal thing. Like that, and I'm like, what is wrong with you, you mean person?
Seriously.
I will
Let's
tell
not
you.
jump ahead. Let's not jump ahead. We're going to get to Shay. Trust me. But I
I
want to
love
get.
the twist, Eric. I love the twist. I think, no, for real, it's really like it gave life again.
Yeah.
Because I had given up on AS5 or on All Stars together. I had given
This
up.
is fully the best All-Star since 2.
It really
Agreed.
is. And
It
I
is.
said that I think it might
I
be.
agree with you.
Yeah, I think I said that to Eric. It's the best after 2. 2 was fucking fantastic because we got the new twist
Yes.
at that point that worked.
Yep.
And now this is the new twist and it works. You have a cast of people who some of whom should not have been here. And we'll get there. But this cast was not as strong as previous seasons. This twist gave them new life.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I will say point blank, I absolutely disagree that this is the strongest season since 2. I actually think it's the weakest season since 2, but that's fine. I think that the twist 100% is the reason that it was as good as it was. That's what I'm going to say. But before
That's
we continue
fair.
to go on to it, let's start back to the beginning. We're going to start off with our first eliminated queen.
A very good place to start.
Right. She came in wearing a hat and she went home with the misguided notion that there would be a returning queen episode this season. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you America's premier Britney Spears impersonator and throuple enthusiast, Derek Barry. I'll speak on Derek's behalf first. So I know Derek is a very controversial figure. I know a lot of people don't like her. I understand why. Here's the thing. Derek makes amazing television. Derek Barry was created to be on television. She's ridiculous. So I was actually really excited that she was on All Stars. I felt like Derek was made for an All Star season. That said, I did agree with her going home first. The gag with India being there and like doing the come from behind story and sending her home was really satisfying in its own way. But if I had to talk about a Derek Barry premiere moment, her reads of India in that reading challenge were savage. I think my exact response was that clip in The Simpsons where the kid's like, stop it, she's already dead. That's exactly what it was. She just kept coming for her in the most vicious way possible. And then in the workroom when they're getting ready or stuff, she's still, it's like a fucking shark in the water. It was just relentless. And like, here's the real tea, folks. Derek was right. Like, say what you want, but like, India did tweet really mean shit about Derek's partner for no other reason except for professional jealousy. And Derek called her out on it, and she wasn't wrong. But I agree with her going home. I think the arc that the two of them have is really satisfying. And I know, Kevin, you wanted to add something else about Derek's like sterling moments.
I mean, she's good TV. Like, I think that's the thing. It goes. We were having a conversation about this before a little bit, but like, sometimes the mess or the person who's not exactly your favorite is sometimes the most entertaining to watch. And
Totally.
honestly, that's totally Derek. And I think the one thing I see in Derek is Derek knows that and
Yeah.
fully embraces it. And I actually respect that, which is why I wasn't a big fan of her in her season, because I don't think I saw who she was.
Does she
I
see who she is?
I do think she knows exactly I think she knows who she is. I think she knows who she is in some ways that make it more entertaining. Like she's ready to entertain you,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether or not you like her. And that fucking sweatshirt that she wears in her confessionals
That's exactly
is
what I wanted.
everything. If you are watching this and you are the person who made that, I have looked for that sweatshirt for months. I want it. I need it. I am an avid hoodie person. It's the best confessional look in my opinion. All the Britney heads. It is impeccable. And I think I'm not gonna lie, Derek looks pretty good as a boy. Like she's cute. She's cute. She's
cute.
even more trade than she was in her season, which that's hard to do. Like I vastly think she's fantastic TV. Like to be honest with you, I want more. Like she can't come back because there's no reason. But like I'm entertained. I would be entertained if she came back.
Well, unfortunately, she was our first out. And I do have to say that on top of her sweatshirt game, think of all the hems we missed this season. Think of it. But we're going to move on. Second, we have the tragic case of literal living legend Angina as one of two queens who just gave up this season.
Mm.
Curtis, you wanted to spotlight Angina's shining All-Stars 5 moment.
Angina had such a bright future. She was supposed to come back before this, right?
Yeah.
So Eric, keep me honest. She was supposed to come back for All Stars 4.
She's supposed to be in 1, and then she's supposed to come back for 3.
1 and then 3, right? Not 4. 1, and then they told her no.
Yep.
And then they were like, okay, come back for 3. But then they were like, we got BB, right? Is that what happened?
That is allegedly what happened. That's
Allegedly.
And we don't want WoW coming after us.
Right.
So she came back now, and I was fucking ready. I was so excited to see Angina. And then she walked through those doors, and her outfit was stunning. Stellar. Like that you would wear at the finale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I think that was her finale. Like that's why she wore it when she did, because she didn't, unfortunately, she just in her mind didn't have anything more to give than what she gave us in the first episode and a half when she gave up. And that's so sad.
Yeah, we love Angina, and that's the thing. I want to make sure that we continue to keep going, but she, like I said, she's a literal living legend, and we love her, and we only wish her success. So it was obviously no one could have predicted how this whole thing would have gone down, and it really is genuinely a tragedy. I'm not making light of that when I say that word. We wish her only success and great things in the future. She deserves all of it. She's incredible. Third out, we had one of my personal all-time favorite queens, and that's Miss Mug for Days, Mariah Balenciaga, aka Mariah Successful, aka Mariah Paris, aka she who saw the fishnets and the fishnets were ripped. Kate, you wanted to speak on behalf of her.
First of all, we met her. She's so gorgeous. She was so kind. Like I just like being around her, there was like a bubble of peace. And I just was so excited to see her come back to this and see what she had. And she had in the first episode, that talent show moment, she had kind of like a Tatiana moment where she came in and did the spoken word thing that everyone was kind of like, whoa. Like there are times when I just like need to like have a joyful thought where I think about how Katya reacted to Tatiana. Like Katya, that was the greatest thing Katya had ever seen. And I felt like Mariah came in and kind of one up that, right? Because she did this spoken word art performance. She was wearing this white dress. She had paint. She was smearing it on the white dress. She was smearing it on the pane. Like the pane of glass that was sort of a mirror, sort of a window. And it was this poem about queer oppression of Black people. And it was just really powerful. And she just kind of came in and was like, here's what I'm about. Like, and was beautiful and striking and meaningful. And then Mayhem called her Mariah Angelou, which like I thought was a beautiful compliment. So yeah, that was a really high moment for her. I'm sorry she didn't last longer, but she did. When she went out, I felt like her time to go out. It kind of was like,
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, again, I've loved Mariah since season 3. Like
Yeah.
from pre-season to season 3, I love her. I had no idea she had that in her, and I'm so
Yes.
grateful that she
Yeah.
had this opportunity to show that she's far more than a look queen. She's far
Mhm.
more than just a ballroom queen. She's a queen with a lot of intelligence and soul,
Yes.
and that was beautiful. I personally
Dignity.
felt
Just
it,
like the
it
way she held herself in her confessional, she was like, I know who I am.
exactly, and like
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
there's no way she could have known what would be going on in our country when this was filmed, and it was even more poignant watching it in the height of the marches for a black what is the word I'm looking for here?
Black
Lives Matter.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, folks.
Got you.
Thank you. But for me, it was a spectacular moment, and I want nothing for the best for Mariah. One thing that has been pointed out is her social media following is terrible. And if you have not, part of it is her Insta is at mug 4 days, so it's not like super obvious to find.
Yeah.
Please follow Mariah. She's a goddess, and I think someone who's deserving of far more credit than she deserves. So we love Mariah, and I was so thrilled to see her back. Fourth out was our second eliminee, S10's Mayhem Miller. Kevin, speak on Mayhem's best moment for you in All Stars 5.
So I have never been a Mayhem fan. And I'll be honest, like I thought her first look in her season was fantastic. I thought it was really good. But I always sensed her giving up or not giving her all or not like actually giving of herself personally. Like I think I felt like she was always holding back. And when she talked about her sobriety this season, it was a moment that I was actually kind of surprised she delved into, because I feel like she's one of those queens who's been a little bit cagey about her personality. In fact, I think she called Cameron out about him being cagey, when in fact she's fully guilty of that just as much, because there were a lot of things that she was keeping back. But I fully respect what she did in that moment, and in her episode, even in an episode where she gave up, but she gave of herself in a way that I thought was really beautiful and meaningful. And it's something that kind of had kept me at arm's length with her in the past, but I actually feel like that brought me into her world, and I loved getting to see that. And she really is damn talented. I think that was my moment where I was like, I want to see you at a club. Like, I want to go to a club where you're performing, because that's where I want to see you. And I think she proved that to me more this season than her own season. And I was like, I get you. I know who you are.
Yeah, and I mean, Mayhem really is a West Hollywood legend.
Oh, she's iconic.
For years and years. And I don't feel like she has been really showcased appropriately in Drag Race. The closest I became is the Christmas special, where she came in and she ate that thing up. That was like amazing.
I was like, book her now. I give her all the money.
Exactly. So I agree with you, Kevin, that she was super open and really showed more of herself this season. I appreciated that. But I still don't feel like the Drag Race watchers have a full understanding of how awesome Mayhem is in a club, at a show, in person. She is better than I feel like the show gave her credit to be. And again, we love Mayhem, and we have tremendous respect for her. Fifth out, we had India Farah, the wildest of wild cards in this competition. Derek, talk to me about India's best moment this season.
India's best moment was her last moment this season, unfortunately. And it's the thing that she will be most remembered for on this season, because whether you believe India or whether you believe Alexis, you have to give her props for the shit stirring she did in Untucked during the deliberations, to the point where it threw all of the other queens for a loop, because they sort of all, with the exception of some drama between Shay and Alexis, they were all sort of just coasting along together nicely. And then all of a sudden, the goop on their face when they're like, I'm sorry, what happened? What are we hearing now? How is this? Are we supposed to be taking this into consideration as we're deliberating? Like, she threw the whole thing for a loop. And I think that that was her most memorable moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I
It
think
was
a lot of people
wild swing.
wild swing from a
Would you-
wild card.
Would you
And-
say she picked up the competition and twirled it around over her head?
Don't leave me this way, India. But like,
Drag
and also-
is an emotional contact sport.
exactly right. But like for people who were like when she was cast, who, and a lot of people were like that. Imagine the season without India. You fucking can't. Not only did she win the first season, first episode, and she had a great lip sync. Like that was a tight lip sync. No one was going to beat India. Nobody was going to do it. But that tumble into like that was a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
But India made the drama for this entire season. She was an arc, and for someone who people were like, oh, why is she there? She's completely indispensable this season. And kudos to you, India. Even the episode after she's eliminated, people are still talking about nothing but India. 2 episodes on. Good on you. And so, like, I'm hoping that WoW sees that and was like, "Oh, we need to make sure we bring back some."
How many people thought she was going to be the first out?
Oh,
Like,
in our pool, like 2/3 of our pool expected her to be the first one out. Yeah, a lot of people did. But I'm hoping that WoW will see the response that she got, and will then go back and get more people who are unexpected to be on this. Like Acid Betty is an example of me. Someone who was fairly early out in her season, but 100% deserves to be on All Stars and could bring the fucking drama. So, all right, there we go. Thank you, India. And also, the mug is astonishing, and I thought she looked great on virtually almost every runway. And she makes most of her clothes. There's a lot of talent there, and I hope she gets appreciated for that. Our 6th out was 2-time All Stars icon Alexis Mateo. Kate, why don't you campaign with the other panelists and get us to vote for Alexis?
Oh, so I love Alexis. I feel like my love for Alexis keeps dawning on me where I'm like, oh, Alexis is there. I'm like, oh, Alexis is here. And she's just wildly talented as a seamstress, like has such a sense of herself. Also, like, I'll tip my hand, I'm 40. I love queens who are like, I am 40 years of age. Like, and you can tell like there is a professionalism, there is a security, there is a sense of self in her and in her performance and in her art. My favorite moment for her was her first moment. She came out, she started the talent show in that number with the gorgeous orange plumes and her dancers, and it's this beautiful Latin number, and Ricky Martin's there, and she knows Ricky Martin's there, and so she's dancing for Ricky, but then Ricky tells her in the judging, he's like, all of your ancestors, they were there with you. And like, you could feel it was so joyful and so alive. And she even sassed Michelle, because Michelle was like, I'm even going to forgive you for your 1-inch heels. And she's like, I stoned these for you. Come on. It was just this really, she knows who she is, and she knows how to give it and how to take it and how to make art. And between that, Walter Mercado, am I saying his name right? Like
Mercado,
thank you. Is it Walter? Why do I want to say it?
Yeah, it's Walter Mercado.
There's a villain in a book that I've read that's Adrian Mercado that I sometimes get. Anyway, that was incredible in terms of like teaching the children, the American like the white children about Latin culture, like, and so full of joy and so full of pride in who she is and where she comes from. And that last look that she made, that she got like sent out on, which again, I think, Kevin, you're absolutely right that like having everyone be in the bottom is bullshit. She did not deserve to go home. Not even a little. Not even.
I still would have put her in the bottom because that waiting pool was not even. But I would have sent Blair home in that episode.
But you would?
Sent Blair home.
Oh,
I would have sent. Yeah, I would have sent Blair home.
Yeah.
It was just not no.
No, not up to snuff. Not up to snuff. Anyway, I love Alexis. She's delightful.
I will say I was not super excited for Alexis to be coming back this season, because in the past, I did not particularly enjoy her on All Stars 1. In season 3, I thought she was super talented, but there was almost a sadness to her that I just kept picking up, and almost a self-defeating quality that I was finding hard to root for.
She gets so sad once she realizes.
Come home, Poppy.
Yeah, come home, Poppy. I'm a drag queen.
Yeah.
But
fake
Is
boyfriend.
that real?
No, that was not real. She admits it was a story that she made up. But hey, it worked.
She
right?
finally admits it. Okay, good.
She does, yeah. But here's the thing. I thought that she showed tremendous growth coming into All Stars 5. I thought that she brought it to virtually every challenge. It's already been brought in.
Yep.
To almost every single challenge. I thought that she was hilarious in her confessionals. She gave us drama. Not only was there the drama with India, there was also that great drama with her and Cracker. Like that was early on.
You don't respect me.
Yep.
Exactly. And like it was, she just like Cracker just walked right into that. But like Alexis was fully present and engaged for every episode of this season.
Yep.
She was in it to win it. And I really respect her tremendously after this season in a way that I didn't respect her, honestly, the prior two. So I love Alexis Mateo, and she has a new fan in me after All Stars 5. Lastly, our final eliminated queen, Blair St. Clair. Derek, you wanted to speak on Blair's talent show.
Yes. So I will say Blair doesn't have a ton of really like solid moments through this season. She's performed well consistently through the season, but one thing that really didn't get called out in any of the reviews that I saw online was the fact that Blair was singing live during her talent show. I think we gave a lot of props to Jujubee's singing talent, but Jujubee was singing a track. She was lip syncing. And the fact that Blair was singing live and doing it really well, I think that needs to get called out, and you know, props to Blair for doing that, because it's not easy to do, as we have seen in past All Stars, in past regular seasons, to sing live and actually pull it off.
Kevin, you were also impressed by her reading challenge.
Oh my God, who thought she was funny? I mean, after last night, probably no one. But she was, my God, the quickness. And I'll be honest. Do I believe that she had people write her jokes for her? Probably. But with that said, it's delivery. Like, you can have someone write you a really great joke, and if you don't have the delivery
or the timing
or whatever it is, then it's a bad joke. To me, in all honesty, I know that reading challenge was a tie. I would have given it to her. Like, I thought she well enough deserved that like mini challenge win. I get why it was a tie, because she and Juju were both fantastic. And Juju is like one of the few people to win 2 reading challenges, which is really cool. And I kind of think that's why. I think ultimately they would have given it to one person. It might have been Jujubee, but I think that tie means something, and I think Blair's talent there was really fantastic.
Like her ability to, in the moment, throw those jokes out. I just think she's young. There's even more room for her to grow, and she's going to get there. And she's already an amazing queen. She's fantastic. She's an amazing singer. I've watched her videos. She's so good. She has just a little bit more to go, and she could have won this season. But I think the other 3 queens who are left are just that much better at this point.
Speaking of which, let's get to that final 3, which I think honestly was the only final 3 this season was likely to see. I feel like we've just kind of been waiting to get to this point. We're going to discuss them in alphabetical order. So there's no spoilers here based on placement as of the end of episode 7. First up, let's talk about Jujubee. Kate, talk to me about the author of Memoirs of a Geisha, Jujubee's Journey, I'm Still Here.
I mean, again, soft spot bias. I love a Boston queen. Lived in Boston for many years. I loved it when Juju was like, I don't have a backyard. I live in Boston. But and she was just, the edit she got was incredible. She was so funny. Every talking head made me laugh. She consistently was there, like brought her A game, just was thoughtful, was funny, was compassionate with other people, was like, and open and vulnerable with herself when she talked about her sobriety with Ru, amazing, all this stuff. But my favorite Juju moment of the whole season was when she won the Maxi Challenge at the 3rd episode, right?
Yeah.
It is the first Maxi Challenge icon Jujubee has ever won, and it was a deserved win. It was for the hotel challenge. She was very funny in it, even though their suite did not win. Ru singled her out to be like, you guys had the top response to the challenge. It was Mayhem and Blair.
Sure.
But someone else won. And it was like three outfits in one was the runway. And she came out as a witch. Also, her Instagram post with her and her cats, cat lady, that's not a shocker to anyone. Just peerless, iconic.
Kate's ecstatic, yeah.
Ecstatic. So she came out as the witch, then she turned into like Mrs. Claus, and then she turned it into like a bunny rabbit. And while her voiceover is saying, you know, I really love Thanksgiving, but I didn't want to come out as a pilgrim because of cultural appropriation. Just like sells everything effortlessly. So then when she wins, there's no acting. It really feels like a complete, genuine shock, and she's moved that she has finally won, but she's still Juju. So like she's holding carrots because she's dressed as the rabbit, and she offers a carrot to RuPaul. Do you want a carrot? And it's just, that is Juju in a nutshell. Almost doesn't know how good she is.
Yeah.
And is so good. And has reached a point in her career from like the early Drag Race where she is so strong and herself. I love Juju. I love her.
Yeah, I've said multiple times, and I stand by this. I think Jujubee's All Stars 5 edit is the best edit I've ever seen from any queen on this show in any season. It is flawless. And I have no idea what's going to happen, but I am hopeful that now, after being on for 3 seasons and making it to the finals 3 different times, Jujubee will, as Kate just pointed out, she maybe doesn't know how good she is. Jujubee is a top-tier Ru girl. And she has to own that and really carry it with her going forward. There is no reason that Jujubee couldn't be on Work the World or The Haters Roast or any of the other national tours. She is every bit as strong as these other queens, and she needs to own that now. So that's what I'm hoping going forward for Jujubee. No matter what happens on next Friday's episode, Jujubee needs to understand that she's incredible and she is beloved, and justifiably so. Not just because she's cute and she's sweet. Jujubee's an amazing drag queen. She's super talented.
Like a quadruple threat.
Like a quintuple threat. She's incredible.
She's crazy good.
I want to make sure that we're getting everybody in. So next up, it's Ms. Cracker. Derek, you wanted to speak on Cracker's 3-in-1 look. So why don't I leave that to you?
Yeah, episode 3, Runway Challenge's 3-in-1 look. I think Cracker needs a moment because she walked out basically as her brand, and that she bridges this gap between camp and comedy really well. And it was the fucking Fabergé egg. And like, you know, instead of trying to be all like bougie about the Fabergé egg, she did the whole like posing with the legs and everything. It just felt like campy and slapsticky, and it felt really good. And then the reveal just like, it just felt effortless, and it just like, this is it. And for me personally, that was the strongest 3-in-1 of the night, hands down.
Kevin, you wanted to speak on Cracker's behavior towards Shay, specifically during the sewing challenge, the backyard barbecue.
Yeah, I was really kind of, and maybe it was for cameras, maybe, I don't know. But I was really impressed with the way that Cracker was really authentically sharing an emotional experience, because I think sometimes people, and I know that she maybe sometimes gets a pass for this, but I connect with her in the way she represents her overthinking and her emotions and the way she manages that. And I think her acknowledging Shay's help with her look was something that was really special to me. Like, I actually genuinely liked that, because she not only acknowledged it, rightfully so, but really laid into this like sisterhood that I don't think a lot of people thought that she had that connection to. Yeah. So I really liked that. I think that's the one thing that Cracker will always own, is that she may overthink things, and it may make her look terrible in the way she does it. But at the end of it, like you even saw this in her original season with Aquaria, she'll own, like, maybe I haven't handled it the best, or maybe she'll name it. And I genuinely respect that, because that's something that I do too. Like, I'm going to make a mistake with you, but you know what? I'm going to tell you that I'm going to make a mistake with you, and let's move forward, and let's like be friends, and let me respect you and show how I do that. And I think that was a really beautiful moment for Cracker.
Yeah, to me, it was really Cracker being human instead of
Yes.
Cracker being a contestant on Drag Race.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things she struggled with consistently in both of her seasons is she takes this so seriously and she wants so badly to do so well.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you see that with her in almost every single second of the season, it bearing down on her like a fucking comet.
Mhm.
And in that moment, I agree with you, Kevin. And also even a little bit earlier in the season when she's wrestling with how the angina and Alexa stuff has really made her look to be a terrible person. You saw human Cracker, and that was beautiful.
And with the cut the pickle moment last night with Jujubee,
that was
like
very cute.
it was great, and it shows that she might be difficult, or like she may have that side, but she's sweet and playful. It's just like navigating her complicated head.
Sure, her eccentricities.
Yes.
We also kind of picked our moments before last night's episode, and I think we would be remiss not to mention the fact that Cracker delivered a star performance in the comedy challenge.
Yes.
That was from Cracker what I've been wanting to see all season, what I've known that she's been capable of delivering since season 10.
Yep.
And I've been frustrated, frankly, with her this season because, again, I could see Cracker trying to
Control.
self-edit and control every part of something she can't control.
Yep.
Last night, she came out on that stage in that really fucking great pantsuit with those sleeves, and she just effortlessly did what she does best. That was a star performance. That's what I wanted to see from Cracker, and I was really proud of her for doing it. So going into the finale, I personally feel a lot better about Cracker having the best track record, because prior to last night's episode, I was not really feeling it. I'm in a much better place now. Finally, she came to slay, and in my opinion, she did. It's Shea Coulee. Come on, Curtis, give this queen her crown.
I have been a Shea Coulee stan since fucking season 9. Everybody on this podcast, minus maybe Kate, can attest to the fact that I was so mad that they gave it to
Salty.
Sasha. They switched the game. That's the only reason that she did not win. They changed everything. It turned it on its head. You added rules at the last minute. I was just so mad for her. And obviously she has post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for real. She talked about it. She made comedy of it. In the stand-up challenge, they said, Ross told her, lean into it, make it funny. And she did. She was amazing last night. Cracker was better in terms of the challenge, but I was really expecting Shea to be like, fall on your face. I'm still not over this. I haven't made it past it. I can't embrace it. I can't do it. But she did. And I am so proud of her. Like, I came out of that episode thinking, you are it. You are number one. You are the winner of this entire fucking season, because you came in as the headliner. You were it. You were the person who was it to beat. And while I think Miss Cracker did a very, very good job of making it near her, Shea Coulee is still the absolute winner. And it all started with the Snatch Game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many winners of their season didn't win the Snatch Game?
I have to go back and check. I don't know.
It's so like Evie, Violet, All Stars.
9. I mean, Alexis won it in 9, so it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Right.
but regardless, your point stands that traditionally the Snatch Game winner is also someone who wins the thing. I personally think Shea came in and won it earlier. I don't think, and this is going to be challenged, that Shea has had a truly bad week in All Stars 5. You
Not
could
even.
argue that the one time she ended in the bottom 2 justifiably before they did the twist at the end of the season for the room challenge, but that was weak. I actually really liked her runway that week. Call me tacky, call me without taste.
I
You're
did
not
too.
wrong.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really fun, and I thought it was very interesting. I feel from a producer perspective, they wanted to put her in the bottom two
They
at
wanted
some
a little
point in the
drama.
competition
Mhm.
because they didn't want it to be like, well, this was created for Shay, the way that All Stars 2 was created for Alaska, the way that
Alaska.
All Stars 1 was created for Chad, All Stars 3 was for Trixie, etc. So I don't deny that she should have been in the bottom two for the performance, but it wasn't terrible. There were people that week who were worse than she was, and beyond that, Shay has been solid or better every single week.
And
which is not-
I will say also, I think that we call it her Snatch Game performance as like iconic and the best, and you know what we think of when we're like she's reached the pinnacle. I think she came out really strong out of the gate, and the Love You to Skin You're In
Oh my
runway
God.
with her as
Incredible.
Nubian goddess. I mean, that was a double shoot from Raja and Raven.
Yeah.
And like deservedly so. It
Yep.
was everything.
Shay
I thought
is next level. She's next
She
level
is.
on something. Yep.
Shay is, in my opinion, and this takes us to our next question. I want everybody to tell me who they think is going to win this season. I will say that for me, it is Shay, because Shay is, to me, the queen of all of RuPaul's Drag Race, who does not have a crown, who is already essentially an all-star. Out of
Yes.
all other 150 people, I think at this point, Shay was a star before she came on season 9. Shay on season 9 proved that she was a true queen among queens. I understand why she didn't get the crown. I'm not going to argue that. To me, she deserves a crown. When I look at who makes sense in the winner's circle, Shea Coulee makes sense in the winner's circle. She belongs there. I'm not saying that Juju and Cracker don't. I'm saying that that's what makes the most sense to me. I'm going to go to Kate. Who do you think should win this season? And who do you think is going to? Who do you think is going to win?
I hope Shay. I mean, I've been burned by All Stars, so I really think Shay, she did come in as the one to beat. She has shown she's a consummate artist. She's a consummate performer. She's smart. She's creative. She's beautiful. She knows how to take risks and how to challenge herself and how to grow. And those are all the things, right, that kind of like fall under charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, right? Like that's the brief. And I think you're right. Like she is just like Jujubee. I adore Jujubee, like beyond. But I just really think that this belongs to Shay.
Derek.
I think it's probably one of the strongest top threes we've ever had.
Yeah.
It's a very strong top three.
I want to believe that Shay is going to win, and I hope that she does.
Yeah.
But I'm with Kate. I feel like I've been burned quite a few times by this competition. Yeah.
I will feel so happy if she does. And I think that the
Absolutely,
fact
yeah,
that
100%.
Trevor had this moment right now, but like that Shay also had a really good moment, but like narratively, she kind of goes into this without the momentum that Cracker has, right? So like if producers are doing things behind the scene.
Yeah, in my head, a Cracker win would be like a Trixie Mattel win. And in my head, a Jujubee win would be like if they crowned BB. You know what I mean? In that season, I just, I love Jujubee. She could win, but up against Shay, no, it's still Shay.
Yep.
I love Cracker. She could win. She's been a strong competitor this entire time. She's got the most wins, but it's still Shay for me.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Kevin Dillon.
I agree with you on Jujubee, although I'd compare her win to be like Katya, interestingly enough, because Katya was in the top. She just never won her lip sync.
Yep.
And I think it's like they're kind of platforming Jujubee as that like fan favorite-y top three person. And then you get down to Cracker and Shay, and I think Cracker has the report card, but I think Shay is, I think the way Eric kind of described it at the beginning, I actually do genuinely think this season was meant for Shay to win. I really do. And I think they've really created that narrative with like the roses and talking about it as much as they have. Like people know that moment, and that was what this season was about. So I definitively think it's going to be Shay. And I think it's always been meant to be her. Like, I think they wanted that win for her, and she's earned it. She, in my opinion, is the best competitor of this season. She shocked me last night, especially with the way it was edited. I was like, holy, you're really funny. In fact, you were, I mean, her look in the comedy challenge and her comedy performance was great.
Right.
Her look on the main stage was like not great, but like I don't know. She was great last night. Way better than I expected. So
We would have
absolutely
loved
Shay.
we would have loved Shay's look on anyone else, but because it was on Shay, we expected more. That's
Yes,
the trick. And
100%. That is 100% what it is.
That's to me why she's a winner. Curtis Creekmore.
And that's kind of bullshit. Oh, I was so mad about that because I had that exact same thought. Like, if that were on Cracker, or if that were on Blair, or if that were on anyone else, they would have been like,
Alexis.
oh, we love you. Harness. Poodle balls. Whatever. Like, but it wasn't. Shay, like, if it wasn't clear already, Shay deserved 9. She deserves it now. And that's not just because she deserves it. She earned it.
Yes.
I really do believe she earned this win. I think Cracker has been really strong. Jujubee has not given me what I want out of a winner, but she's been fun to watch.
I think
Shay,
her prize is the edit.
That's
Yep.
exactly what I've
I
been
think
saying.
that's what Juju gets.
yeah.
Which is
Juju gets
awesome.
the edit. Cracker gets the report card. Shay gets the crown. That's
Mhm.
everybody's winning here, but
Yep.
Shay gets the crown.
But if they don't give it to her, I'm in the fucking streets. I'm rioting. Like, for real though. How can you
Mhm.
I really
Can you
hope
please ride at Gillette? It deserves some. It deserves
It's
some
just
of
down
that.
the street. I can
Exactly.
yeah, I hear you. So there you have it, folks. That's our picks for the best moments of All Stars 5 and our finals picks for who they expect to win the season. What do you think? Who do you want to see take the crown? Pop off at greatpopculturedebate.com, and while you're there, see what polls are open for your votes for upcoming episodes of our podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Have a fantastic day, and take a memo from the twist this season and vote, bitch. Vote. Have a good night.